All right, let's continue with this lesson. Okay, so now what we want to do is we are passing my data as a prop to the main component. So what we want to do is we want to add uh, the props. We want to receive the props inside of our main component. So I'm gonna come over here to main, and to receive the props again, all I need to do is pass it in as an argument, like so. I'm passing in props, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to console.log props just to make sure that I received it. So here I'm consoling props. Let me refresh this, and there I can see props returns data, and there's data is the name of the prop. That's what we called it, and there's an array. So again, we can come over here and see inside of app, we're saying main, and data again is the name of the prop, and we're adding my data as data. Main receives it, we got it. Now we can start to do some stuff. Here, I think I want to make a we use ID here, use the use ID hook here. That's the idea. Because what I want to do here is we're going to make a row and then a bunch of cards. Okay. So I think the best way to approach this is to start off by building out the card component. Okay. So I'm just going to do it right here for right now. I'm just going to make a card component inside of my components folder, Card.js. And again, is with all the components. Make sure that the first letter is capitalized. And now I'm going to start it up. So I'm going to say const card, and it's going to return this function. And here I'm going to return. What am I going to turn? First, let me export default. Let me get that out of the way so I won't forget about it, or in the event that I do forget about it. All right, so export default card. All right, here we go. What I want to do is first I'm going to start by making a column, okay? Because I know that I'm using Bootstrap and I have my container row set up. So I'll start off by making a div with a class name of COL for column. And then once I have that, I will make my card. So I'm going to say div class name card. And I also just add travel dash card. Give it its own class. All right. And then next thing I want to do is I'm going to add my image. That's going to go at the top. So I'm going to say, right now, I'll just do a placeholder image. Okay. So I'm going to add a placeholder image. Again, this is going to be changed. img-fluid image. And then also I need to add the class name card-img. I believe that's the Bootstrap. And also I'm going to say rounded. I think this need to be card image dash top. I'm going to check in just a second. And then I need to make sure that this is, again, class name and not class. All right. And I'm going to, while that's going on, I'm going to come over here to Bootstrap real quick. I always like to go to the docs. When I forget Bootstrap classes, I like to keep the docs up so I can remember the classes, and it is card-img-top. Okay, so we're good right there. So card-img-top. There we go. So the next thing I want to do is inside of my card, I'm going to do my card body. So I'll say div class name card dash body. I tell you what, let's add let's put a card header above it. So I'm gonna say div class name card dash header right here. And right here, I'm just gonna make an H2 class name. I'll call it card dash heading. Maybe I'll do display dash 3. And I'll just put location right here, because that's where I'm gonna want my location to go. Okay. And so now card dash body, this is where the body of the information is going to go. And it's going to be based off what I have in my data. So I look at my data. If I go back to that, I have the year, I got the description, and I got is favorite. So I'm not going to concern myself with the is favorite just yet. That'll probably be the last thing I do. Because again, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is like use a React icon and have a heart or a star or something to indicate a favorite. So what I'm going to do is I need the year and the description. So I'll put that, let's see, inside of, let's go back to card. Here we go. So here inside the card body, I'll make a p tag. Oh, p, give the class name card dash text. And this is where my year is going to go. And then below that, I'm going to do a p class name card dash text. I'm also going to add a class description. And I'm just going to add the description right here, because maybe I want to style that up differently. Okay. And so now that I got my card, I got a structure there for my card. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and import that into my main component. So I'm going to come over here back into main, and let's import card. So I'm going to import card from card. I think I'm going to go ahead here and import the ID as well. So import, I'm going to clean this up. Use ID from React. Import card. Okay. Now, and if I come over here, let's do a check real quick. I'm going to remove main, and I'm going to drop the card component in there like so. When I come back and look at what we got, let's close up right now. And there's my card. There's location, year, description. It's mighty large. That's okay. We're going to fix this up. I see that it's working. Now, I know I'm going to need a row. So let's go ahead and make a div with a class name row. I'm going to also add these classes to handle the breakpoints. I'm going to say row dash calls dash 1, row dash calls dash MD dash 2, and row dash calls dash LG dash 3. That's going to handle the breakpoints for them. And so now, again, what I can do, I can just say card and add another component and another component I could do that like so, right? You can see how it's looking. So we don't like that. Oh, and something else I noticed right here, there's no space in between. So those cards are touching. So here in my div with the class name row, I'm also going to add G4 for the gap or gutter, and that creates a little space there in between them. So that's much better. All right, cool. We're rocking and rolling. Again, I don't want to do this. This is inefficient. This defeats the purpose of using React. We want to write code that is reusable. So how can I do that? Well, I got the props. Who got the props? Who got the? Never mind. I don't know about that. Doggone Black Moon. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is we know that the props is returning the data, and I could destructure props because there's only one prop that we actually have, and that is data. I could do that. I'm not gonna worry about that. But what we're gonna do is we're going to make a new array based off of this array that we have, which is data. So I'm going to make a new array of card components by saying const card components gets. And to make this new array, we're going to map through our original array, which is props.data. So const card components get props.data. And then again, we want to map through it. So I'm going to say .map, open up my parentheses, and give me each item. And here you can call this whatever you want. I can say item, I can say element, destination, location, whatever you want to. I just prefer to use item. So anyway, let's say I got const card components props.data.map, take each item. Okay. And what do we want to do? We want to make we want to return a card component. And so now that we have that, what this is going to do is this is going to say, hey, I'm going to take every item in the array, however many we have. I have 6. I'm going to map through it and return a card component for each item, and then store that into a new array called card components. So when I come over here and I pass in, and watch this, I have to put this inside of curly braces because I'm going into the land of JavaScript now. So I put in curly braces. I'm going to say card components. And there I can see all 6 of my objects, my cards here. Cool. And so now what I can do is, now that I have the information, from the props, now I can begin to add the things. Okay, so let me clean this up. I just real nitpicky about that sometimes. Here I could say the location is going to be props.data.location. I can say image URL, and I like to name them essentially the same thing that I have, just to be consistent with my name so I don't confuse myself. This would be props.data.image URL. We have the year, and that'll be props.data.year. I have the description, props.data.description. Anything else? Oh, and is favorite. I'm gonna go ahead and add that. Is favorite. It's gonna be props.data.is favorite. Okay, so now that I have that information, is being passed into the card component as a prop. Okay, so that means that now I should be able to come over here to card and receive the props here. And so let's try it out. I'm going to start off with the location here. Instead of the H2 reading just the location, I'm going to pass in, and this needs to be inside of curly braces because, again, we're in JSX, and we're telling JSX, hey, you need to get some, we're reading JavaScript right here. This would be props.location. And when I do that, do I see? I don't see anything just yet. Let's see what's going on. Let me console.log props here. Make sure I'm not consoling here anymore. I'm not. And inspect. Let's look in the console and see what the console says. Oh, get undefined. Okay. Oh, we got a bunch of undefined. Oh, what doesn't it like? Well, see right here, each child in list should have a unique key prop. So I think we can fix that real quick. We got use ID. And I'm going to right here. I'm going to say, no, I'm going to do that inside the component or inside this card components array. I'm going to say const ID gets use ID. Okay. And here I'll say key gets ID. And that should take care of that issue. Let me refresh. And it does. But now I need to see what's going on with my information here. And I think I know what it is. Let's see. If I'm gonna remove this console right here in card, come back over here to main, and if I did a console.log of props, refresh this, and there's my data, there's my array. Okay, there's everything there, so that's cool. So what if I said props.data, come here, refresh, there's my array again. Okay, there's my location. So so if I say prop, yes, there we go. Instead of saying props.data.location, I believe what I need to do right here is say item.location. No one said anything. And it should be item.URL. Let's see what happens. Let me see if the names show up now. Refresh. Yeah, there go the names. Okay, so yes. So yeah, these need to be item and not props.data. Blah 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 blah. Item. So key is ID. Location is item.location. I can remove that console right there now. Location, item.location, image URL, item.image URL, so on and so forth here. Cool. Now when I come back here, and so now I get props.location, and I can see that the location pops up. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to console.log props. Matter of fact, I'll say props.id or props.key. Okay. And when I do that, oh, get undefined. Let's see, why did I get undefined? I don't know. But they got rid of that error. So we're gonna roll what we got. Let's see what happens if I console props. Let's check that out and see. My key's coming up undefined. I don't know why that is, but I have to look at that. I have to explore that. Or we could just go and just, if I want to just do this real simple right here, I could say, I want to get the index of it, so I could say props dot data dot index of item +1. And let's see if I refresh this, it should have an ID. What's the key? Still come back undefined. Huh? Am I doing it right? Oh no, I'm not. Index of item +1. Still come back undefined. We'll fix this. Let me see. What don't you like? Card key is not a prop. Try to access it will result. Oh, the card key is not a prop. Oh, okay. Well, okay, cool. Let me leave that as it is then. Let me just use ID right there. It says not a prop. Okay, so cool. I'm not gonna worry about that. What I am gonna do though is, okay, here for the source, I don't need all of that because that's just a placeholder. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say props.image URL. And now all my images load up. Cool. Which means now I can say, instead of year right here, I can pass in props.year, and description, I can add props.description. Cool. And what I can do also, if I want to, and I do want to, for my card, I'm going to add a class H-100 so that they can all be the same height. Certainly you want to format your images before you render them. That's not the focus of this lesson. And so yes, there we go. Now let's see, what else do I want to do before I go into the getting the React icon. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this data file to my gitignore. So I'm going to come over here to gitignore and say source/data.js. All right. And I think what I also want to do is I want to add an alt in here because the descriptions don't really fit. So I'm going to add an alt property right here. I'm gonna say alt, and this is gonna be what? A picture, or I'm not gonna say a picture. Oh, Satch. Satch selfie. Standing at the beach. Oh, I don't know why I have equal sign right there. That should be a colon. Yep. And then I'm just gonna add alt to all of these images because we're gonna pass that in as well. It's a good idea to do that, and do that on the front side. Don't be like me. Be like me, but not here. Satch selfie standing in front of the building where the Oilers smacked the Predators around. What's the next one? What was that? Tweety and Tasmanian Devil. Okay, there we go. So I've added my alt, and what I'm going to do is now come over here to main, and I have access to it. So I'm going to come over here and add it as a prop. So alt is going to get item.alt. Cool. And then I go back to my card, and here my alt, instead of reading placeholder image right there, because I don't want that, I want it to read props.alt. And so this is good. This is good. All right. So what we'll do in the next video is we're going to learn about React icons because we haven't done that yet. We've touched icons before, but we're going to build some React icons. What's so funny? Oh, in Tulum? Yeah. Like an album cover, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah, we're gonna learn about React icons, and then with the React icons, we'll figure out how to install those, but also look at conditional rendering. So we'll come back to that inside the next video.